everything on Illmatic that comes out in 94, he's writing between 91 and 94. You're now an adult man. I've always thought it was unfair that people were like, because the thing that they were drawn to was the kid who sits in the window and watches the streets and tells about it. But that was only gonna be for one album. Like how many albums of that you got?
Exactly. Exactly.
It's not sustainable to expect him to continue to do that. You have to. It'd be very sad if he never left his house.
Right. You still in the apartment looking out the window? Like, damn. Now, the mafioso way, I mean, you could poke holes in whether or not it's authentic. But then again, you could poke the holes in its authenticity for everybody, not from Staten Island where they was actual mobsters at, and they were really seeing that lifestyle. Like, we know Big wasn't a Frank White. You know what I'm saying? But this was, I think, actually, it was a way for artists to be creative. When I say I think he's the best rapper, I think that's the best rapping I've ever heard. It's from a control standpoint, from a breath control standpoint, from a vocal tone standpoint, from a what words he's mixing standpoint, it's just like, it's so effortlessly amazing for this record, like the rapping. And what's crazy about it is I don't think he's rapped like this ever since. After this album, that style died, and he never went back to it. Like, even, like, the subtleties of what he could do with a pen changed. Like, even literally on I Am, he's still amazing. It's just a different kind of amazing. Like,
what do you attribute that to?
Who you're hanging out with, how much you hang out with them, and how y'all talk has a lot to do with how those eras go. And I think with Nas, like, big influence of Ray and Ghost, this album to me. I think there's a big influence from Big on this album to me.
Yeah.
There was a big mafioso push, the whole thing, and Nas was in it. And that's how these dudes was talking. They was young dudes talking about getting money. And this, all this mafioso shit was like the New York way of getting money. You know what I mean? And that's how you talk. So I think that all had a lot to do with it. But from just a technical aspect, I think that, the competition that he was dealing with at the time had a lot to do with it too. You talking about the Prodigies and, of course, the Raising Ghost, the Bigs, the Jay-Z's, like, and you fighting for King of New York status.